you can put more energy into it and all it'll do is surf past a little faster.
What advancements does the MACH bring to the flotation process?
The flotation process, you know, it has a characteristic particle size range that it's efficient in, and people usually call that the elephant curve, because the back of the elephant is the range in which flotation is particularly efficient in, and that's normally above 25 microns, say between 25 microns and 212 microns, and anything above coarser than 212 microns is traditionally hard to float, and anything finer than 25, definitely finer than 5 microns, is exceptionally difficult to actually extract efficiently.
Wow.
So this is this is what's been plaguing the flotation industry ever since the dawn of flotation, and there has been quite a lot of technology developments and developments where people are trying to efficiently float the coarse material. That's not where we're aiming. What the MACH does, it actually helps enhance the flotation of the very, very fine mineral. And that's owing to the very, very fine bubble size that we have, the pico nano-bubble size. But you've got to ask yourself, okay, why is it so difficult to float a fine mineral? Why does a 5 micron particle not float, whereas a 75 micron particle does? And the reason is that that fine particle has got such low mass and inertia that it simply doesn't collide with the float-sized bubble. So it gets stuck in the water streamlines that flow past the bubble, and it just surfs past, if you can imagine that. So it doesn't actually collide. So you can put more energy into it and all it'll do is surf past a little faster.
Yeah,
but it won't
wasted.
It won't actually collide and make contact. Without collision, you cannot attach the particle to the bubble, so you can't get flotation.
Okay.
And that is the whole thing. So other technology suppliers try to put more energy into the flotation cells, trying to get the collision to happen. Whereas we at Goldor had a completely left of field take on it. We just said, look, if that's the issue, if collision is the issue, we have these venturis that we can create cavitation in, and cavitation bubbles need to seed on something, and usually they seed on hydrophobic impurities that would be in water.
Yes.
But that's the key right there. They seed on hydrophobic particles, and those 5 micron particles that we want to float are hydrophobic. The majority of them are fully liberated. They're ready for flotation, they're just too small. So in the venturis of the MACH, we have the situation then where these particles give birth to bubbles, if you can picture that scenario. So you have a particle going through the throat of the venturi with the speeds high, and the instantaneous pressure drops to below water vapor pressure, and then voila, you get this cavity that forms directly on the particle itself.
Amazing.
So you've now, in one quick step, you've solved the main issue with the fine particles. You've now attached these pico bubbles onto the particle.
That's incredible.
So, but these are very, very fine bubbles, so they don't have the buoyancy to levitate that particle up to the froth surface. But what we then do is we aggregate those fine particles together. So 5 or 10 of them might get together and form a cluster, which then looks like a larger particle. It's a pseudo larger particle. So it may look like 75 microns, and we present that to the flotation process.
Okay.
Now that aggregate can then attach to a float bubble and be successfully floated. So it sounds very complicated, but really it isn't if you understand what we're doing with the MACH. And the results are quite mind-blowing. You know, we've recently done test work on site on Great Dyke ore body using our semi-pilot test rig. And what we managed to prove there, we showed it very well, and we've actually just published a paper on it. We managed to get as high as 8 to 10% incremental recovery over the base case, which is immense, which is really saying something.
Yes.
You know, that equates to a lot of extra monthly revenue, and of course our client did the cost-benefit analysis on it, and the payback on that project was way under 6 months.
Wow.
So yes, we are doing something that's very different, very unique, and I think very useful to the industry. It just needs to be embraced by the operators.
Yes. Yeah, they usually say think outside the box, but you just think outside. There's no box required.
We haven't learned what that box is. Yeah, but a lot of it comes from the fact that I'm a qualified scientist. I didn't study metallurgy. Nobody taught me what that box is. I'm still trying to find it.
Yeah, you don't even have the box. You're
I don't
just
have
outside. Amazing.